because before I came to North America, I thought that all the teams were pretty similar. But now that I've played against them, I've noticed that all of the teams actually have some kind of different way of playing. So I tried like Chipotle for the first time here. It was good, really good.
Yeah, heck yeah, dude. Chipotle's good as hell. I'm so glad you like that.
So NA is a good it's a good experience, and it's for sure something that I can bring on later in life. I can think back and reminisce like, oh, it was a nice time.
Yeah. All right. This will be exciting, guys. I get to meet Rhyme. Let's go. I have so many questions about his experiences on the teams that he played for.
Hello.
And here he is. Yo. It's good to meet you, man. How have you been? How's your time in LA been since you got here?
I mean, I think it's pretty obvious. Place beautiful, nice weather. At least compared to where I'm from, this is very nice. This is like a Norwegian summer, basically. So for me, it's beautiful, man.
Yeah, as someone that lived in LA, when you said it's pretty obvious, I was like, oh, is he gonna talk about how he hates the traffic? And then you threw me a curveball and you talked about the good things. So no, I actually think the food and stuff is so great in LA. I love the people out there. So it's a great city. I know you'll love it.
You know, it's the first time I eat like proper Mexican food and all these kind of dishes, because in Norway it's not a lot of like diverse people. So I tried like Chipotle for the first time here. It was good, really good.
Yeah, heck yeah, dude. Chipotle's good as hell. I'm so glad you like that. So how does it feel like, let's see, being the first European transfer to NA adds any pressure in this first event? Do you feel it adds any pressure? Because you technically were the first one. EGLs came over after you, which was your ex-teammate, which we'll get to.
I don't think it adds any pressure, to be honest, because it was purely my choice. I could have gone to a European team if I wanted to, but at the same time, I saw NA as it's a good experience, and it's for sure something that I can bring on later in life. I can think back and reminisce like, oh, it was a nice time. So I don't think it adds any pressure, because it was purely something that I wanted myself. And to be fair, I think I'm a guy that doesn't really feel the pressure that much. A little bit cold-blooded maybe. So to be honest, I think I'll just play like I always played and be the one I am. I don't think any region will like change the way I think about the game or change my approach to things.
Dude, normally I wouldn't believe people, but I swear to God, everyone from like your area of the world in that cold is just, they're built diff. They just don't get nervous. I
think it's pretty true. I have Slavic genes because my parents are from Bosnia, and it's like kind of the same mentality as like Russians and all those kind of people. And I think it's pretty true, because I did play with 3 Russians, and they were ice cold, man. No emotions, no emotions, man.
Dude, Russians inside FPS games are wild. Yeah, they make crazy plays because they have no emotions. They don't care. But so I have a question regarding your experience in EU, and now comparing it to NA. You're one of the few players that played with like the top IGLs in EU. In a lot of people's eyes, you played under EGLs and Existence, and no longer we don't really see Existence. Can you how would you describe the differences between those two IGLs? And like, what does it feel like now in NA? Like, does it feel very different from both of those? Like, how do all 3 of these things compare in your eyes?
I mean, with someone like Existence, I think it's probably hard to replicate what he could have done with someone, because I don't think there is a lot of IGLs even in EU or in both regions that has the same experience as him. And I think that you will have to look a long time to find someone that can approach the game the same way and share the kind of same experience and same vision, etc., as him. And I will say that playing with Existence probably helped me a lot. And the differences between EGLs and Existence are not big, because Existence is the one who taught EGLs how to IGL. Maybe not taught him directly, but EGLs builds a lot of his IGLing on the way Existence IGL'd for us in NIP. Because when EGLs joined us, Existence were still there. He was like kind of an assistant coach. He did like help him, show him some ways on how to set up the rounds, how to set up the players, how to visualize the stuff happening, etc. So the difference isn't that big, but obviously there is a difference in experience from those 2 players, and you could imagine that Existence probably do bring more than what EGLs bring, but I still think that their way of playing is probably pretty similar because of that.
That's interesting. And how would you compare that to like the NA play style? Like based on what you've seen in scrims, based on what it's like in this team, is it like more loose? Is it more structured or less protocols? How does it feel?
I would say Gen.G, our team is probably one of the more structured teams, at least from the way I see it. But other teams are for sure less structured than what EU teams are. I think that's a matter of. I think that's also goes back to a lot of the players in NA has never really played with big IGLs from CS, let's say from CS:GO, that could teach them like this kind of fundamentals, etc. So I think that North America as a region probably is a little bit more puggy because of that. Because in, let's say, in tier 3 CS, tier 3 Valorant, for example, in EU tier 2 Valorant even, you do have players that have been playing with proper good IGLs even years ago in other games that has taken that to Valorant, while in, for example, North America, you don't really have that. I know that, for example, MDL in North America was just a pure like friend league of people just running around and having fun, right? Meanwhile, in Europe, that league was actually proper set up and people actually played to like proper tryharded there. So there are differences for sure. NA is more puggy, but I don't think that is necessarily bad or necessarily wrong. I just think it's two different ways of approaching the game.
Yeah, dude, you put it very eloquently right there. I couldn't agree more. From my experiences in EU, the depth and the tier 2 teams are way more structured in EU. And I think it's because, like you said, they're playing with very experienced players and they have the infrastructure to support all of these teams across all of these different countries. Whereas when you come to North America, we have a really good top of the scene. But when you get past the top, it's like the floor falls out. And all of a sudden, when you play scrims against some of the teams like bottom tier 2, tier 3, it feels like they're running no strats compared to European scrims. And that's probably, even though their aim feels really good, their teamwork is awful.
Yeah, well, I think aim is people should look away from aim because aim is something everyone can learn. Doesn't matter where you're from, right? That's just a mechanical skill you train in. So
yeah, so that's a really good point. I like that. I like that a lot. Okay, so my question now is going to be coming from Mike's HD. So I think it's from Mike's HD. It's from Mike's. What team/players are you looking forward to playing against this year while you're in NA?
What teams I'm looking for? I'm looking forward to play everyone. Let's be honest. I think we've been practicing almost all the top teams in NA. Maybe we haven't really practiced 100 Thieves yet, but I think we have some practice scheduled against them coming up. But I think all teams are pretty interesting. I think all teams are also because before I came to North America, I thought that all the teams were pretty similar. But now that I've played against them, I've noticed that all of the teams actually have some kind of different way of playing. But I do look forward to play XZ. I do look forward to play C9. I've also I also look forward to play Envy. Other than that, I haven't really like thought about the other teams. We have practiced TSM. To be honest, nothing special. It's like I look forward to play XZ the most probably. I like that Cryocells guy.
Whoa. Good. Wow, that's an interesting one. That's a good shout. Holy cow. I have one more question for you, and I'm trying to think about how exactly I want to frame it. Which region in your eyes, because you're one of the few people that have had practice in both of these regions, and you've had a lot of practice in Europe, and you've kind of had a decent amount of practice now in NA. Which region do you feel like is better? And I know you might not have played all the top teams in the world, but what team do you think is the best team in the world right now?
So to answer your first question, the region, like because I've been practicing in both, I think that both regions are good in their own ways, but I think EU is still more professional. When I say professional, I mean like the way of practice and just the way practice are set up, etc. For example, in North America now, like people write all the time in chat in practice. Like people are chatting about all kinds of stuff when they're practicing. In EU, I could go a whole day without a single word in chat when we're practicing. Like no one talks to each other in game. No one is like, writing like having chats mid round, and no one is doing that in Europe. While here it's like I think in North America it's a smaller scene, but so more people are friends, right? And I think that they're more open to like chatting in game and etc. Like I said in practice. So from the looks of it, EU is more professional, but I don't think the practice in EU are anything better because we do have teams even in EU, that are just not fun to prac against. You have poor practice there also. So I think it's pretty 50-50, but the professionalism is way higher in EU, in my opinion, at least from what I've seen so far.
Yeah.
What was your second question? Sorry.
Who do you think is the best team in the world right now, in your eyes?
Best team in the world? I mean, for me, it's obviously Gambit still. Even though they lost champions, they're still probably the best team. They won Berlin. They were rounds away from winning champions as well, two lands in a row. So I would still probably say Gambit. I know Ascend has always been good, the team that won. So I would probably place those top two still. But we'll see. It's a new season now. It's hard to say. A lot of teams got new lineups, so there can be upsets. I mean, there can be new teams that come on top of the throne now. So I think it's hard to say, but I would say that it's still Gambit. Probably they kept the same lineup and they have been consistently good for a year now.
Yeah, I could agree with that because, yeah, they have the body of work that Ascend unfortunately doesn't, even though they won champions. So I would say, yeah, like 1A, 1B for those two teams. It's very hard to kind of pick one right now
it is
because
for sure,
Ascend won. Yeah, but that's all I have for you, man. Like, I love your answers. I love how tactical your mind thinks, and I can't wait to see what you do all throughout this year. Are we gonna get to see you on like Duelist, like Raze?
I'm gonna play Raze, Jet probably. I'm gonna play Duelist. Yes, I'm gonna play Duelist.
Let's go, dude! I can't wait to see this. Any last words before you bounce out?
Oh, I just want people to watch us when we play and be ready for some crazy stuff. I think we're gonna surprise a lot of people, especially with the practice we put in. We've been playing a lot. It's been long days, long hours. Even for me, when I played from Europe, I think we've been preparing good. So people should just be ready to watch us and see.
Good. I'm stoked. I can't wait to see you guys play some matches, and best of luck this Thursday.
Yeah, thank you.